Okay.
Um, welcome to shit. Sorry, crap talk. Game talk crap edition. Um, and I'm going to be talking about a game today that is crap, but it's based on something that is not crap. It's actually based on something that is a touchstone of entertainment and culture and just everything in general of the 2000s. Also, in the year 2004, a little indie movie was released that became a cultural icon. That movie was Napoleon Dynamite. You could not escape this movie. It was everywhere. Everybody can quote it. There's a million quotes of that movie. It is a very popular movie. In 2007, for the PSP and Nintendo DS, they released Napoleon Dynamite the game. I played the PSP version. Now, watching the original film Napoleon Dynamite, it is about a young teenager named Napoleon going to high school and Preston, Idaho. And the whole movie is about him making friends, getting into like trouble with his uncle Rico, who's like a scammer, and it's just a weird little awkward movie, socially awkward movie, and that's kind of the charm of it. How the hell do you transfer that premise of almost nothing to a fucking game? They did it by making a collection of 30 mini games. In Napoleon Dynamite, the game for the PSP, you play through a quote unquote story mode, which just sees you play through 30 mini games. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I didn't make it through all 30. Um, because you have to play like five at a time to move on. The art style of the game is in like this quirky like clip art style, which I do think kind of complements the movie well. Like the movie is quirky and like kind of like behind the times with stuff, so it is kind of cool to see that art style. But the mini games, I don't know why they took this approach with this game. If they wanted to even, I don't know why they made a game to begin with, but why they took this approach with it, because there's not a lot of substance in the movie, and that's sort of the point for a lot of it. And so the mini games they chose for this compilation, they had to like base them off of the most minute details from this movie. So of course you have like a rhythm one based on Napoleon's famous dance at the end of the movie. That one makes sense. You just gotta push like the buttons in the whatever direction they tell you and stuff. They There's one based on Uncle Rico's time machine that he buys, which is just one throwaway joke in the movie, and it's like a puzzle game where you have to put the circuit board back together or something. There's a game where Napoleon's brother Kip has to like hack a computer, which I mean I guess makes sense because he was on his computer a lot or something. He wasn't a hacker, but okay, whatever. And you have to like play like a little pipe game where you lead like a little circuit board through a pipe or something. Um, there's one where you have to feed Tina. Obviously, you got to feed Tina. Tina eat the food. And that one was fine. There's one where you challenge Uncle Rico to like a football throwing competition to see how far you can throw it. there's there's one where you have to hunt wolverines because Napoleon went hunting with his uncle and shot like 50 of them. So there's you have to hunt wolverines and it's like a gallery shooter. There's a tetherball game. There's a dodgeball game. There's a bike one with Pedro. There's a cake one.
Wait,
Do you know
wait,
where that one
wait,
is
wait, wait.
from?
With who?
Pedro.
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 Not
What did I
Ped.
say?
You said
Oh,
Pedro.
sorry, Pedro.
My
That's the
Latin
way.
ears.
Sorry, Pedro. And anyway, there's one where you have to make a cake. Do you even know what that's even what point in that movie that's even from?
Make a cake. I don't recall that, but it's been a
There's a
while. It could have been in there. I
there's
just
a
forgot.
I
there's
feel
a
like it's
there,
Pedro. Like I baked you a cake for like one of the
no.
pretty girls in the
Yeah,
movie.
no, you're right. No. There's a point where he's gonna ask out Summer Wheatley, and Napoleon's like, "How the heck you gonna do that?" And he's like, "I don't know, probably bake her a cake or something." And
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
it.
fucking line. And they made a mini
Wow.
game based off that fucking line.
Genius.
Bake her a cake or something. there's just there's nothing here of substance, and the mini games themselves were not very fun. Hence why I didn't complete it. I think the game takes like 2 hours to beat, and I played maybe an hour. But I got to a point to where some of the mini games were just kind of unbearable, and you have to beat them like 5 at a time to move on to the next one. So I saw maybe half the game. Like some of them were okay. There was one there's one where you have to drag a toy behind the school bus, like in the beginning of the movie, where he throws the toy on the string at the school bus and drags it behind the bus, which is like again just a throwaway gag. Very confused on why they chose a mini game approach for this on a handheld. Both of the versions are for handhelds too. So if you want to play with another person, I guess they also need a copy of Napoleon Dynamite for the PSP and or DS, and then you have to link them together. It's like the approach makes no sense. I would have understood if it was maybe like a Wii game and they did like a party game or something, but it doesn't make any sense. They could have chose like a better genre for a Napoleon Dynamite game if you even wanted to make a fucking Napoleon Dynamite game for some reason.
Well, the why is clear.
It's popular.
Yeah. That's so crazy. I'm watching little clips of it right now.
It's garbage.
This is one of those stocking stuffers you do not want to get for Christmas.
Yeah. No, this is definitely one of those games because like Napoleon Dynamite came out in 2004, but it was such like a cultural icon that it was just so popular for so long that even in 2007, like it was still popular. Like people were still quoting this movie. So yeah, I could definitely see like a parent being like, "Oh, my kid always talks about Napoleon Dynamite. I'm going to buy him this PSP game or DS game."
Yeah. Yeah, no, this represents the criminal side of gaming so well. Where it's like, let's prey on people that are like ignorant about the medium. It's like, well, I don't know what to get my son for his birthday, but I know he likes Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, it's just like a dad joke if like they get you this game.
Yeah. Sure.
It's like the antithesis of what the movie even was. It was like a cheap movie made by a small team in like Idaho that became so successful. And it's like a movie about nothing. And then they were like, okay, let's market that with a game. They also tried in like 2012, they also did like an animated series on like ABC or one of those channels that was like supposed to be like a Family Guy show type show, but it was Napoleon Dynamite, and it also had one season because it was bad. So it's like that movie was so successful, and I still think that studios or companies don't quite understand why. They're like, it's just weird. People like that.
Yeah. Well, I will say to its credit, it has a lot of the flair of the movie. Like I'm watching some of the pop-ups where it says like "sweet," and that is in like the same style as the movie's logo and stuff. And the graphics are kind of interesting, where it's like you said, it's definitely of that era where Flash was becoming a thing, and so they use like a cutout of his face and just kind of like it'll bob back. It reminds me of like, do you remember when they used to do like singing presidents and stuff, like, and they would do like, it reminds me of that era where it's like, man, that's cool what they can do with technology, and it's like it looks just nonsensical now, but so I'll give them credit for that. And it is weird that it's on like the PSP. Like what market? That specific market that only has a PSP and not a PS. You wouldn't make it for PS2? Like it's weird when they would go for one and not the other.
2007, like I always think like that or like the Wii or something. Like if you're making a mini game compilation based on a very popular movie, why wouldn't you pick the Wii? Maybe budgetary reasons. I have no clue.
If they made it for the Wii, they would actually.
If I want Napoleon Dynamite on the Wii.
Yeah, they would have to actually be creative for that, where they design it with that stupid Wiimote.
Yeah,
and they probably didn't want to do that.
Well, it is mini games, so maybe
you can do it. Come on, like hitting the tether ball with the Wiimote, like that kind of stuff.
Bake a cake.
They probably wanted to spend about as much time on this
as they did. Yeah,
as push button mini game go boom.
Yeah, they literally just watched the movie with a notebook and said, "Oh yeah, bake a cake." Like they wrote down things that happened in the movie and like mini game 1.
Well, and like the fact that it was on PSP and DS is funny because the DS makes sense at least because it's just like the game. I imagine on the PSP it was like, Grandma, can you get me the movie Napoleon Dynamite on PSP, which had a UMD release? And she was like, sure, and then you end up with this fucking game instead, and it's like that. I wanted the movie.
Yeah. Mom, oh well. And you're just playing it anyway.
Mom, I
Yeah,
can't
but-
put this in the DVD player. Just like I thought, they made them smaller.
What score would you give it out of 7?
Oh, out of 7, I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna give it like a 1.5.
Where's the 0.5?
The visual, I think the visuals are interesting because they do kind of like remember like the opening credits of the movie. It has like the different school book stuff. Like they do kind of represent like maybe like stickers or like things you have like a notebook, like that sort of stuff. So like I think it is interesting and kind of fits some of the theme of the movie, but that's all it has going for it. I guess it's not friggin' sweet. It's made by a bunch of freaking idiots.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.